Hello friends, good afternoon. It is a very nice occasion for me to be able to express to you and explain to you what Spanish is and why should we learn this language. Because you people would have noticed it has always been in fashion to learn Spanish. Generally, people who travel a lot, travelers and the people who are into sailing or people who are into music or the people who work with the US or people who work with any of the Latin American countries or maybe with Spain. So generally these people want to learn this language. And also the people who are from the fields of art, maybe performing arts, maybe visual arts. So these people are also attracted by the sounds of Spanish language and the philosophy and literature of the language. So I will explain to you what Spanish is, what kinds of sounds does it have, and what kinds of letters does it use. Spanish is like any other European language uses the Latin or the Roman alphabet, which is like from A to Z, like we use in English. Besides these 26 letters, we have three more letters which are invented by Spanish people. So adding to the 26 previous letters, it becomes 29 letters we have in the language. But many letters have the same sounds, or many letters have no sound. In fact, H is the only letter which has no sound, and there are many letters who have the same sounds. So in total, we are dealing with 20 sounds only in Spanish language, which makes it very easy to read and to understand the spoken part of the language. So let us know more about the countries and the places of the world where it is spoken. It is spoken by approximately 570 million speakers from 21 different countries of the world. In Europe, we have Spain, which is the birthplace of language. And with Spanish sailors, the language also traveled to the discovery of Americas. So it is spoken by 20 nations of all the three Americas. And it is the second official language of United States of America because of its vicinity to Mexico and a lot of Hispanic element in their culture too. So now why should we learn Spanish and how we can learn it faster? We should learn it because it opens a new window to a new world, which is the Latin culture world, which is the Hispanic culture world, which has given to the world different types of dances, different types of music, different types of gastronomy, and different types of tourism. Like Spain is very famous for its tourism of beach. So all the people from different parts of Europe, they generally travel to Spain to get the sunlight, to stay at the beaches. So Spain and the entire Spanish culture, what we commonly term as Hispanic culture means the Spanish culture of Spain plus the culture of all the 20 other countries which speak Spanish. So altogether, we just summing it up, we call it as Hispanic culture. So Hispanic culture have different types of Spanish spoken in different countries, but that is just we can say uh, different dialect, but the language being same. So what you can do with Spanish if you know Spanish? I think if you know Spanish, then you know English also. You can travel almost all parts of the world, and people can communicate with you. So knowing Spanish, it's very easy to get a job in the US, whatever your professional sphere may be. If you are a Spanish speaking engineer, you are on a different uh, you're on a different competitive level to get a job in the US. So Spanish is also good for people who want to work in the BPOs and KPOs in India, because they normally have to deal with the 30 million US speakers of Spanish, especially in the southern part of the US. So most of the BPOs, KPOs, MNCs, and the companies which are working with the US, they generally have one or two Spanish experts to do the communication. Thirdly, with Spanish, you can work for any kind of export import house. There you have a different world that is opening for you, that is South America, which is still not trading a lot with India, which is still a new unexplored market. So you can always do your business in that part of the globe. What else can we do with Spanish? If anyone wants to become a sailor, then Spanish is the language of sailing all over the world. So all the students who study fashion, who study hospitality, who study the courses of maybe air hostess or crew, and the people who study medicines. So all these people, if they know Spanish, it will definitely help them in their career formation in the US as well as overseas, going to any of these countries. So what else you can have besides making a good career out of Spanish? You can learn good cuisine out of hobby. You can enjoy good music, a different music, which is Spanish and Latino kind of music. You can enjoy so many different type of dances which Spanish culture, in fact Hispanic culture, has given to the world. And it is a privilege to know Spanish because it is one of the 6 official languages of United Nations. So if you study international relations, you always have a possibility to be hired by any international organization if you know Spanish. So we have seen it is such a nice language, and the most beautiful part of the language is that it is very easy to pronounce. It is a phonetic language. What we write, the same thing we pronounce. There is only one letter, which is H, which is silent. So when we write HOLA, we pronounce as it is, hola, because H is not pronounced, the only one letter. All the 3 letters are pronounced, so it becomes hola. Similarly, other word which you would have heard a lot in so many international programs, that is adios. Many people say bye, adios. ADIOS. So the same thing what I am writing, the same way I am pronouncing. Adios. Adios. That means bye in Spanish. So it's a very musical and phonetical kind of language where what we write, we pronounce. Its grammar is derived from Latin, so it's also not a difficult thing to learn. Every verb is used according to the subject pronoun who is using the verb. So suppose I say I play, you play, we play, and you all play. So it's always the same verb to play which is used, but in Spanish what happens, it goes like Indian languages. The verb is used according to the person, according to the subject who is using the verb. So it's not a difficult thing to learn at all, because we are already accustomed to this thing, what we say as conjugation of the verbs. We are already accustomed to that in our Indian languages. So now, how to learn? How to learn fast and in an entertaining and in a comfortable way, so that language learning becomes fun with lot of knowledge we can gain by internet about the culture of these countries, and moreover we can know their perspective to life, what they have contributed to humanity. So anyways, coming back to the point, how to learn Spanish. Here at Florence Academy, we apply both the methodologies of teaching a foreign language, the direct method as well as indirect method. Indirect method is the method in which first we learn to write like a baby, and then we speak. Then we learn to speak. Whereas the direct method is the method, suppose I go to a Spanish speaking country and I do not know the language, so I am thrown in that situation. So, and people do not know English. So, what to do? So, I have to learn the language. So, that is a direct method. It is again like a baby. First, we learn how to speak, and then we learn how to write, and then we learn how to write it correctly. So, at Florence Academy, we have our own notes made by the Spanish teaching professionals who have taught at different platforms. In fact, all the platforms our professionals have taught, all the curriculum. So we have our own notes which facilitate the process of learning using English or Malayalam as the mediator language. So this is the methodology that we follow here. So we take approximately, let us say, 100 hours to complete one level of the language. So like all the languages, it has 6 levels: A1, A2, B1, B2 and C1, C2. C1, C2 are as good as native proficiency, but for our thing, I think up to B2 level